Okay, hi everyone. Meteorologist Chad Evans here. It is 1:18 in the morning, and yet we're tracking more severe weather in a wild week of severe weather. This all began, on Monday? And here we are early on Friday morning, Thursday night, if you will. And we've got more storms coming right back in. We've got warnings. There's no watch out. A severe thunderstorm watch is being considered, but it hasn't been issued actually. But we've got severe thunderstorm warnings up in our area. This is for Howard, southeast Carroll, eastern Clinton, and northwestern Tipton County. Now, there is a tornado possible tag on this storm, so you can't completely rule out a brief tornado spin up. Otherwise, it's quarter size hail and winds up to 60 miles an hour. Now, if we're going to get a quick tornado spin up, where's it going to occur? Well, it's going to be right here, just northwest of Forest. So there may not be a tornado warning issued for this storm, but there's certainly a little bit of rotation here near Forest that is dropping southeastward. So this is going to pass through the Forest area and then northwest of Kempton. So that is something to watch very closely. When we look at the velocity product here, it's tightening up here just a little bit around Forest. So that would be the zone of the best chance of a brief tornado spin up occurring in this area. Now, the reds are going away from the radar just to get our bearing straight here, and the greens are blowing towards it. So right here, it is where that area rotation would be for that warrants the tornado possible tag on the warning. Otherwise, there may be some gusty winds mixed up in this storm, and also a little bit of hail too, potential of a gust up to 60 miles an hour. And the hail product does show at least some dime to penny sized hail right now, but that hail may get larger. And on the warning, there is that 1 inch diameter hail tag there. So again, gust of 60 possible, quarter size hail near Forest and West Arushaville. And then we've got to watch that area right around Forest where we are getting rotation there. And that's dropping to the southeast. I am going to put a storm track on this particular one as it drops southeast at about 35 miles an hour. And that's going to put it from Kempton, from Center and Sharpsville, Michigan town, and just northeast of Frankfort, southeastward through Tipton County and all the way to Sheridan. So we'll track it that way, get out in front of it. And times of arrival include 12 minutes to Kempton, Sharpsville 14 minutes, Hemlock 19 minutes, Skirkleville 13 minutes, Tetersburg 16 minutes. We've got 22 minutes to Tipton, Pickard 20 minutes, Hobbs 29 minutes, Curtisville, it's about 23, 24 minutes away from this particular storm. Again, tornado possible tag, gust to 60, and quarter size hail is possible. We've got other storms approaching Greater Lafayette. Now, we've already got warnings over here in Champaign and Vermilion County, Illinois. We may very well end up with warnings for Greater Lafayette soon, as well as Warren County. Some intense storms coming in from the northwest right as we speak. We'll pull up kind of an x-ray of these storms, and we can already see the pretty strong winds that are mixed up in these right here. Some cores of damaging winds that may approach 60 miles an hour. That's all moving to the southeast here, towards Pine Village, towards Otterburn, towards West Lafayette, and then also near Battleground and Brookston. That all headed in that general direction. And then also near Rossville, Illinois, that's moving towards Hedrick. So we've got some cores of damaging wind here. We've already got the warning again out here in Vermilion County, Illinois. There are no warnings for Benton, Tippecanoe, White, or Warren, but you could end up with one soon because we're seeing some pretty decent wind mixed up in these storms right here. That's all dropping to the southeast. Some cores, again, potentially pushing 60 miles an hour here. and even a little bit of hail mixed in. The biggest hail we've got is near Boswell right now, where that could be nickel or quarter size, and quarter size hail west of Ambia too. And this hail near Round Grove, that could be peas and dimes. And just a tremendous amount of cloud to ground lightning here too, a tremendous light show tonight. So small sub-severe hail, Round Grove, north of Battleground, near Wolcott, back in eastern Benton County, and even parts of western Benton County. But the largest hail we see right now that's got the best chance of going quarter size is just north of Boswell, headed for Chase, and eventually near Oxford. And that's going to drop into northeastern Warren County. And another core of some hail that may be near quarter size east of Hoopeston that's dropping towards Ambia and will enter northwestern Warren County. Talbot now getting reports of brief pea-sized hail. We're getting reports of it hailing now in Round Grove. Thanks for those tremendous reports. There's the other hail that we're tracking. Near the Forest and Rushville areas, dropping towards Kempton and Skirkleville and Goldsmith, and a little bit of pea-sized hail Galveston to Judson. Also, we got a flood advisory that's up for Carroll County, and flood advisories are up for Pulaski, Cass, as well as northern White County. We're getting heavy street flooding now in Royal Center, and we got a report of a basement wall that has collapsed into a residence from the heavy rainfall here. We can't take any more heavy rainfall up, especially in Pulaski, northern Cass, northeast White, and southeast Fulton County, where the rainfall has been so incredibly heavy. Thankfully, right now, the heaviest storms have exited that area for the time being. The heaviest storms now are moving into Howard and Clinton, towards Tipton counties. There are the storms in northwest Clinton County. And then there are the heavy storms, White County, northern Tippecanoe, Benton, all the way back to northern Vermilion County in Illinois. Report of a wind gust of 31 miles an hour at Round Grove, which is good. At least it's not 50 or 60. We're seeing some pretty decent wind cores in that line and some of the hail just northwest of Greater Lafayette and now approaching Pine Village. I think this part of the line is actually moving a little bit faster. I believe the Lincoln office, well, they've got it moving southeast at 25. Indy has this storm off to the east moving at 30. We were tracking that one at 30. We'll track these, I think, at about 35 miles an hour off to the southeast. So we'll adjust that. There's 35. We got that one. And drop it to the southeast, like so. Get out in front of it. Drop it into Greater Lafayette and Crawfordsville. Here are the times of arrival for this line of storms. Downtown Lafayette, 20 minutes. We're looking at the Discovery Park District, about 17 minutes to get to that location. It's already pouring rain near Klondike, but the main line is about 14 minutes away. It's coming right into Otterman right now near Montmorency. West Point, 12 minutes. Taylor, 20. Romney, 29. Odell, 18. Concord, half an hour. A little more than a half an hour to Stockwell. Clarksville, 42. Wyandotte, 35. Dayton, 32 minutes. I would say the Pettit area would be about 25 minutes. Buck Creek, I would venture to say that's about 20 minutes. Though we're a little more than 20 minutes to Battleground. Now here in Warren County, Kramer, 19 minutes. Green Hill, 2 minutes. Near 20 minutes to Attica. There's the Newtown area, pushing a half an hour. Veedersburg, a little more than a half an hour. Steam Corner, more like 40 to 50 minutes away. Wallace, 53. Crawfordsville, 50 minutes. Darlington, 49 minutes. And it's about an hour, that is, to Thorntown, and 49 minutes to Colfax. Getting reports that Fowler had a pretty intense storm. Multiple reports of that I'm seeing now. Some dramatic winds, plenty of thunder and lightning. And that makes sense. Pretty intense storms there with tremendous thunder and lightning going on. Still waiting to see if a warning is issued for that storm here as of 128. And as of 128, the only warning that we have is over here in Howard, Tipton, and eastern Clinton counties. It's exited southeast Carroll County right now. And I'm looking at some of the wind from that area. It's at Middle Fork, winds are up around. They're not too bad right now. They're generally out of the northeast, gusting to 21 miles an hour. So nothing too out of control there, but that's off to the east of this storm. But that part that was rotating a little bit went through that area. I think the best chance of a wind gust of 60 and some of that hail, penny size, dime size, is right here just west of Kokomo, through Rushville, and all the way down to near Forest. It's right there. And that area south of Forest, that's the area that I've been watching. There is a tornado possible tag on that particular storm. And that's the area that I've been monitoring for that area rotation. Now, when we look at the radar here, green is towards the radar site, red is away. So there is rotation in this storm just to the southeast of Forest. I'll circle it right there. Right there just west of Groomsville and northwest of Kempton. It's not tightened up a huge amount, but there is rotation there. And again, that's why there's a tornado possible tag on this particular storm. It's rotating about right there, and it's probably more like down here now, moving into Tipton County, just to the northeast of Kempton, moving towards Normanda. Goldsmith, going to pass close to Groomsville here too. And on the back side of it, there may be some rear flank downdraft winds behind it that gust more than 50, and then even out in front of it, winds blowing away from the radar. These gusts could be pushing 60 miles an hour. So still multifaceted storm here. There's the part that's rotating. There's some winds on the backside of that rotation more than 50. We may have a gust of 60 northeast of that area of rotation that are surging out of the west and the southwest too. And there could even be some hail mixed in it. Wiping on that hail data, we see a core of potentially now it's getting larger. It's peas, dimes, and pennies. It may go to nickel and quarter here soon. That's part of the warning. Quarter size hail is possible too, with the warning for the next 29 minutes. And remember again to repeat the flooding going on, the flood advisories that are up in Pulaski, Southwest Fulton, Cass, Northeast White, in Carroll counties. We've already had a basement wall collapse in Royal Center. We're getting reports of flooding in Royal Center right now on the streets in an area that had more than 6 inches of rain over the past couple of days. And then off to the west, this hail doesn't look as big near Boswell as it did, let's say, 10 minutes ago. We had a hail core on that storm near Boswell that looked like at any point it would pump out quarter size hail. Well, now this hail is kind of peas and dimes and pennies that may mix in. We've already had hail reports from, I've had them from Round Grove, Talbot. They've all been pea sized, and now getting reports of dime sized hail just to the west of Swanington in Benton County, and a lot of wind with it. So we're getting the hail there. No evidence of tornadoes in this part of the line. But certainly some wind cores that are showing up in the storm. We can see them pretty easily here, south of Boswell and around Otterburn and northwest Tippecanoe County. You can see right here these bright red areas where a wind gust up to 60 miles an hour is possible. There's no warning, but I would consider the risk of a gust of 60 right in these two places that I've circled on the screen. So get ready for that. Even though you don't have a warning, you see the bright red spots right there, indicative a couple rounds of strong wind, and there's going to be some hail mixed up in that wind as well. And then there's other wind here in Vermilion County, Illinois. Now, this has a warning on it. Now, if you notice, this one has a warning, this one does not, but the wind is just as strong in Vermilion County as it is west of Pine Village and near Otterburn. So it's quite possible that warnings may be issued like this for these two cores of damaging wind in northern Warren and now leaving southeast Benton County and moving. And there it is. There's the warning. Was waiting on that to be issued. There it is. Severe thunderstorm warning. Tippecanoe, southern Carroll, northwest Clinton. There's northern Montgomery, Warren, and northern Fountain counties for winds to 60 miles an hour. Right now the hail is peas and dimes and pennies. We've got to watch for a potential uptick up to quarter size here as well. But the main threat here is the wind, and we've got multiple damaging wind cores we're seeing in these storms there. We've got one here and a little bit up towards Boswell, and you've got one here near Otterburn. That Otterburn one is headed for Greater Lafayette. This one's headed for Williamsport, Kramer, and Attica. And this one here will eventually move towards Foster in areas just to the south west of West Lebanon, Johnsonville, and Marshfield. So there's your warning up. This warning goes for nearly an hour for these counties. So now we've got the warnings up pretty much from Howard County all the way westward to Warren, and even actually the far northern tip of Vermilion County. I'm going to toggle back and forth between storms to the east near Kokomo and Forest, and then the storms from north of Frankfort all the way to Ambia. So let's circle back. Again, keep in mind these storms are generally moving to the southeast, but there are additional storms, maybe a little elevated, behind this line. So we're going to have training storms into the night, and the risk of flash flooding is going to be high. We've already had that in northern Cass County over the past hour and a half. Well, we've got more flash flooding coming in during the overnight hours. So let's do a reset. It is 1:35 right now. We've got severe weather in the area and flooding risk. And we've already had hail being reported at Round Grove, Talbot, that was pea-sized, and near Swanington in Benton County. That was dime size. So pea and dime sized hail reported so far. I'm going to wipe my LSRs on this screen. I want to make sure those are up. If the Weather Service sends out any of these, those are all on right now. There's your severe thunderstorm warning for Howard, northwest Tipton, and eastern Clinton County. Gusts to 60 possible, hail up to quarter size, and you will notice the tornado possible tag that is on the warning. Now, why tornado possible tag? Well, this storm has had a history of some low-level rotation ever since it was northwest of Forest, and it's been tracking southeastward, and we can really see where that is. It's been on this tail end of the storm right here, and it's now southeast of Forest. And it's alarming because it's at night, and we don't have a tornado warning for it, but it's showed this transient rotation for a while. Another thing I'm noticing is that Kokomo all the way down to northwest of Normandy here in Tipton County, that's the part that probably has the 60 mile per hour gusts. There's some pea and dime and penny sized hail in it. We'll wait and see if we get quarters. Not seeing that just yet. And then on the back side, it looks like we've got a little bit of a rear flank downdraft. These are forward flank downdrafts. So this wind is surging outward, blowing west and southwest. This wind near Skirkleville is coming in from the north and northwest, wrapping around the circulation, which is just now north of Kempton. And that backside may have winds 50 to 60 miles an hour. I would guarantee you this is probably green on our velocity. This is probably red, and the couplet's probably about right here. We'll go ahead and take that data on, and yeah, you can see it right here. So Here is your couplet, your rotation, just northeast of Kempton. Here's your green, your wind blowing towards the radar. This is strong wind that's blowing away from the radar right here. So wind, right there's your couplet. Right there where you have that wind roaring in and a quick wind shift, right there just to the northeast of Kempton is your rotation headed for Normandy, Goldsmith, and Petersburg. So that's that storm. Let's go back to the west where we've got all these severe thunderstorm warnings up for Carroll, Clinton, Tippecanoe, northern Montgomery, northern Vermilion, northern Fountain, Warren, and Benton counties. And they're the storms coming into Greater Lafayette right as we speak. And they're your damaging wind cores right there. And we got a flood advisory now up for Benton County as the flooding rains are occurring. Right here, these could be gusts to 60. They're now coming into West Lafayette. There's no guarantee everybody's getting a gust to 60. But it's certainly evident from a radar standpoint that we've got some strong wind right here along 52 out towards the ag farm and out by the Meyer store on the west side, and some intense wind right here just to the southwest of Pine Village and south of Rossville, Illinois. This damaging wind is headed for Williamsport and Attica. This is headed for Greater Lafayette. And getting a lot of questions about Monticello, Delphi, Fowler, Reynolds. Again, we're gonna go through all these storms and answer all of these questions as we track them. The warning is just south of Delphi, but we're going to answer all these questions here as we track these storms. So that's where your damaging wind is. And in fact, wouldn't surprise me one bit, if these are 60, potentially, this could be more than 60 here northwest of Kramer. That's a nasty wind core dropping southeastward. So again, get ready. Foster, Johnsonville, Marshfield, Williamsport, Attica, Kramer, Shadeland, now coming into West Lafayette, and Lafayette, and eventually Dayton, all the way to the south side of Lafayette, and all the way to Shadeland. That's where the warning is up. So we'll go back and take just the rainfall here. We've got storms coming into Delphi, but the worst of them are just to the southwest of Delphi right now. The warning is really Brookston. I would consider Brookston, Round Grove, Otterburn, Pine Village, all in the severe thunderstorm warning. Oxford in the warning, Hedrick, and then all the way southward in that area. Again, Barb asking questions about Oxford. You're getting hit right now. There are nearby gusts probably to 60 miles an hour, and we're seeing the hail in that storm showing up. There are pockets of hail here that are just to the southeast of Chalmers and then west of West Lafayette and then all the way back to Oxford and all the way here to Pence and north of Hedrick. Again, sub-severe hail is possible right in this zone. None of it looks severe or quarter size, but there are likely pea, dime, and some penny stones mixed up in this line. So we'll go back here again. There's your warning that's up. We'll do the storm track here. We're going to track it to the southeast at about 35 miles an hour. Make sure our timing is correct. It may even accelerate a little bit. But we'll go back to just southwest of Delphi. It's storming in parts of Greater Lafayette, but the line is still to your northwest. We'll take this right here all the way down to northwest Boone County. So the times of arrival, again, the worst of it in downtown Lafayette would be 12 minutes away. It's just a few minutes away from Purdue and the Purdue airport. The worst of it is literally a minute away here in West Lafayette and the Chauncey Village area, as well as the northeast side of Lafayette. Even though you're getting heavy storms right now, the worst of it's still to your northwest. 5 minutes to West Point, Shadeland 7 minutes. We're looking at anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes at Riverside, Rob Roy 27 minutes, Newtown 25, Stone Bluff 33 minutes, We got Vetersburg a little more than half an hour, Cherry Grove a little more than a half an hour, a little more than a half an hour to Bowers. Frankfort, you've got some storms nearby, but the main line is still northwest of Lafayette. Getting reports of major wind here, east 650 north off 43. That's that wind in the main line off to the northwest. Cyclone, less than an hour. Reagan, less than an hour. About an hour to Kirkland. About an hour to Lebanon. Less than an hour to Mace and Newmarket. Deers Mill, less than an hour here. There's downtown Crawfordsville, 43 minutes. Linden, 26 minutes to get to your location. Edna Mills, more like a half an hour. And Pettit, about 28 minutes to get to your location. So those are the times of arrival there. Kingman, 55 minutes. Marshall, about an hour. Covington, about 45 minutes. And it's about half an hour from Fountain here on the Wabash River, southeast of West Lebanon. And the main threat here is severe gusts to 60 miles an hour. Who's got the best chance of getting a gust to 60? Well, anywhere you see that bright red color is where we're seeing the winds are very strong at radar beam level, and at any point those damaging winds could make their way to ground level. Looking at some of these gusts that we've had already, I had one report of a gust of 31 at Round Grove. Now, the other station there at Round Grove, looks like the peak gust at 10 meters was 40. So we got another gust there, but nearby the gust was 40. It looks like east of Fowler we had a gust of 51. And now the wind is coming into the areas west of Pine Village. Let's see what we've got there. Again, I'm going to circle where the best chance of getting a gust to 60 is located. It's right here. And it's right here north of Kramer. And it's north of West Lebanon. And it's over here near Bismarck, Illinois. And I'm going to put arrows as to where these are headed. Right here. And again, gust to 60 possible. This one here could be plus 60 in Warren County. That's approaching Williamsport and Attica, and we hope it misses that area. Let's see here. I'm just reading the reports. No power south of Fowler. Farm stand knocked over south of Fowler. We know that east of Fowler, the measured gust was 51. The gust west of Pine Village was 52. So we are mixing some of this wind energy down to the surface. Now we've got a weather station west of Martell that we should be able to get some wind data on, though that storm, the worst of the wind hasn't made it to that location yet. The winds out of the north-northeast, the peak gust so far has been 23. We're going to watch and see how high the winds get from that particular station in that area. So now we're just seeing what kind of gusts that we're measuring with what wind equipment we have available. So far, the highest gust has been 52 west of Pine Village. So we are getting some of that wind energy down to the ground. Looks like the worst of that wind may have been just east of that weather station. The worst of the storms with the severe weather risk has gone south of Oxford and Boswell. Now, all the damaging wind threat, or the cores of damaging wind, not everybody's getting damaging wind, but the damaging wind cores are now coming into northern Tippecanoe County. They're in northern Warren County and central Warren County, working their way southeastward. And wherever you get this wind, you may encounter some of this pea, dime, and penny-sized hail, because some of the hail is corresponding with that damaging wind that's dropping, southeastward here. So some of you will get some of this hail to the ground with a gust up to 60 miles an hour. And that's why we've got this severe thunderstorm warning up from the National Weather Service, from Rossville and Americus and Buck Creek, Dayton, all the way westward to Covington. Pine Village is in the warning as well. Wipe the tracking off the screen. I want to go back to this storm in Tipton County real quick because that's got some big hail in it, and that one's been rotating. These storms out here in the greater Lafayette area, Buck Creek Battleground, all the way to Green Hill and Hedrick, those are not rotating per se. The threat there is generally sub-severe hail and wind and a tremendous lightning show and very heavy rain. Getting reports from Michelle, wind is crazy in West Lafayette. We'll be getting some good wind readings there here soon, especially from the Purdue Airport. If anyone's getting hail, that would be good to know too, even if it's peas and dimes and not necessarily truly severe hail or quarter size. And tremendous lightning. It's like a strobe light out here in northern Warren County, northern Tippecanoe, southern White, and Benton counties tonight, and west of Delphi. And there's the movement. We see the movement, which they're moving to the southeast at about 35 miles an hour. And keep in mind, even though these storms, have the severe weather with them, we've got other storms behind the main line that are lining up, and these are going to train over the same areas through the night. So we've got a real flooding concern right in this zone where some places are going to get more than 4 inches of rain, more than 5 inches by tomorrow morning as these storms train over the same area. But at least right now, the severe weather threat is with this line, and then behind it, it's just heavy rainfall that's coming upstream. So once you get these storms with severe weather through, you're going to get more thunder and lightning and just torrential rain overnight and into the morning hours. So the flood advisories and the flash flood warnings are now beginning to really line up. We got a flash flood warning now for Benton County. We've got flood advisories, Carroll County, all the way to Fulton and Pulaski County now. And we've got the severe thunderstorm warnings coming in from the northwest. Again, the main threat in Tippecanoe County and Warren and Fountain and Montgomery and Clinton, Southern White and Benton County, it's not tornadoes. It is damaging wind, sub-severe hail, and flooding. New flood advisory is up for Warren and northern Tippecanoe counties for the flooding. We're going to end up with a flash flood warning for Tippecanoe County, Warren County here soon. We've already got it in Benton County. But again, the main threat, there's the warning tag, sub-severe hail, gusts to 60 miles an hour. If there was a storm that was going to produce a tornado, it's this one in Tipton County. The tornado possible tag on the warning, a hail up to 1 inch in diameter, and a gust to 60 miles an hour possible. And we can see right here's that storm. If we're going to get a tornado, it's just right here to the southeast of Kempton right now. It's left Roucheville. We don't have Tracy. We don't have tornado risk in Roucheville. It's all just to the southwest of Goldsmith and near Kempton. The hail and the wind are up here. This is where the hail and the wind threat is, gusts of 60 up to quarter size hail. The part that may produce a tornado is right here, and that's going to move into northern Hamilton County here pretty soon. Power is out in the Brookston area right now. From Page saying the power is east of range line north of 18 outside Brookston. No power right now. This storm in Tipton County has the severe hail risk right here. That hail dropping along West 200 south, west of Tipton. Maybe a little pea hail around Tipton. But the risk of a quarter-size stone is certainly just to the east of the area that's rotating. So we'll go in here, and it's not tight rotation, but Strong winds here, strong winds with the storm over here. We've got a little wind shift here. The green and the red's tightening up. So that's how we're looking, like this. Wind surging out this way, and the wind's going this way on the radar. So red is away, green is towards the radar side. So that area of rotation that we have is now towards East Union and just now crossing into Hamilton County. Let's go back. Let's go back to those storms to the west and take these on. There are your warnings. There are your storms coming in. We've had winds measured more than 50 miles an hour east of Fowler and west of Pine Village. So we'll wipe that storm relative velocity data back on the screen. We have several cores of damaging wind here that could make it down to the ground. Now, again, not everyone is going to get damaging wind. There's a large warning issued here. It's just southwest of Delphi, all the way to Covington, and all the way to Linden. But the cores of damaging wind that are showing up the most are near Kramer, approaching Williamsport and Attica and Independence. This one dropping towards Foster here, one near West Lebanon. We got some gustiness here near Shadeland, but the main core is really, if we've got a gust of 60 here, it is occurring right along Sagamore and just to the east of 231, Discovery Park District, moving right into the right in the heart of Greater Lafayette, West Lafayette, and Lafayette. Right there it would be. And if we're able to get that wind energy down to the ground, we're getting damaging wind right now to 60 miles an hour right over West Lafayette and Lafayette right as I speak. This is just southeast of the Research Park and just north of Teal Road. And this is kind of working in this general direction towards Meadowbrook, McCarty, the Norma Jean Addition, and just north to the north east of Mason's Ridge. The other core of damaging wind that we may have, there are two. We've got one here dropping towards Fountain and Rob Roy, and then the other one may just barely miss Williamsport and it's going to be awfully close to Attica. Now, I'm getting reports from Kathy that it's not too windy here in West Lafayette. Now, that's good. From a radar standpoint, the radar beam is seeing the wind, but there's some question as to whether we're transporting that wind energy down to the surface. Wind is picking up in Attica reportedly right now. Which makes sense. That wind is not far away from you, and it's going to track very close to Attica and Independence as it moves to the southeast. So I think now, a good time to do another storm track. There's a storm report that's popped in from the Weather Service, gust of 60, just northwest of Goldsmith. So that makes sense. We've had the damaging wind here. We've had the rotation on the backside. We've got some hail mixed up in this too. So gust of 60 just northwest of Goldsmith has been reported. The Weather Service sent out that local storm report. We'll go ahead and I'll look at Michigan Town because we got an anemometer there that can pick up the wind pretty well. And we'll see how high the wind has gotten there. Looks like the wind is gusting to 40 northeast of Michigan Town. So that is outside of the main areas of the severe thunderstorm. I mean, there's a warning there, but so far this gust has been 40. There's your 60. We're probably getting 60 mile per hour gusts here and here. And there's that area rotation that's dropping into Hamilton County. So farther west, are there any trees down anywhere? Kevin is asking. I'm not getting reports of that yet, but it is the night. And those reports are probably going to be delayed. unless we're getting them from law enforcement or 911 call center. I'm sure we are going to have some down based on what we're seeing from the radar standpoint. Getting reports, though, of high winds off Morehouse in West Lafayette. Let's go ahead and just do a track on this. I think it may be moving just a hair faster. I think Weather Service has this moving at 30. I think I've actually already got it. Yeah, I've already got it set at 35. I'm going to bump that up to about 38 miles an hour. Just a little bit more to be as accurate as possible. So let's take it kind of in front of it, Covington. It's coming into the city of Lafayette now. Then we'll take it all the way southeast of Buck Creek, drop it down here into Boone County. Here are the times of arrival. We've got 29 minutes to Covington. Let's try that again. I want to make sure this track is really accurate. So let's go ahead and go all the way back here. And we'll take it. And we'll take that and we'll go all the way up here like that. And then my computer's very finicky right now. There we go. Draw it out and we'll just drop it like this. Let's get in front of it. It's coming into Shadeland now. It's approaching Dayton. It's barreling into Lafayette and West Lafayette right now. Coming into Odell. It's south. It's blowing through Attica and Williamsport and Independence. Tremendous light show. A lot of wind mixed up in this. And there's some sub-severe hail too. It's going to be at Graham 20 minutes, Petersburg 27, Wingate 14, New Richmond 12, Linden 16 minutes, North Crane 20, Mulberry 32, Fickle 30 minutes, Clarks Hill 27 minutes, Frankfort 44, Antioch 45. Again, these are estimates of times of arrival. 40 Thorntown, half an hour to Darlington, half an hour to Crawfordsville and Yountsville, half an hour to Steam Corner, 23 to Hillsboro, 23 to Waynetown, 24 to just north of I-74 in Montgomery County. Cyclone 51 minutes, about a half an hour to Mulberry. Wyandotte, it's about 25 minutes away. And finally, Pettit, it's pretty much right at our back door. It's saying a half an hour. It's going to be there sooner than that at those locations. And finally, Waveland 46 minutes, Ladoga 46, New Ross 45, Lebanon 55 minutes, Kirkland less than 1 hour, Terhune it's about 1 hour away. If you're just joining me, it is 2 o'clock in the morning right here. And we're tracking severe storms in the area. Here's where we stand in terms of warnings. Now, from a severe weather perspective, the severe thunderstorm warning continues for Tipton County for that storm. Hail up to 1 inch diameter, gusts to 60, tornado possible tag. We'll get into where all that's occurring in that storm in a second. There's no warning for Michigan Town, west of Kempton, or east of Frankfort. The peak gust at Michigan, northeast of Michigan Town was 40. Now farther west, we've got warnings lined up. Southwest of Delphi, south of Delphi, severe thunderstorm warning. These are for winds to 60, maybe in places a little higher than 60. Not everybody's going to get that wind damage. Not everybody's going to get a gust to 60 or 65. But there appear to be pockets of damaging wind embedded in this line of storms. And the warning is also for northwestern Clinton, northern Montgomery, all of Tippecanoe County, Warren County, northern Fountain, far northern Vermilion. Now, Benton County, you're not under a warning, but I would consider southeast Benton County. It's just as bad there as it is in northwest Tippecanoe and northern Warren, where we do have a warning. So that Otterburn area and areas just to the south and east of Templeton, you're in the severe thunderstorm warning criteria. So that's the severe part, but we are loaded with flood advisories, and now we're getting flash flood warnings. So Pulaski, Fulton, Cass, White, Northeast Carroll, all under flood advisories. We've got a flash flood warning for southern Benton County. We've got flood advisories for northern Warren and the northern part of Tippecanoe County. We've got trees and power lines down now just west of Williamsport. That's that wind core we were showing you off the west of Williamsport. And then there was another one kind of northeast of Williamsport and Attica. So we know what these storms are producing. We've had a gust of 52 west of Pine Village. We've had a gust of 51 east of Fowler. We know we're getting some damage reports here. You know, we had the gust of 60 northwest of Goldsmith and Tipton County, and now we're getting trees and power lines down just west of Williamsport. And there are your damaging gusts surging forward with these storms. So, again, right over the city of Lafayette, potential is there. We've got another core wind that's dropping now west of Williamsport, and now one that looks like it's just crossed near the Independence area and east of Attica. That wind core is going to be moving right over an anemometer in that location. So we're going to see how high the wind gets in that area. It appears we've had a wind gust of 43 at the Purdue Airport. So 43. When we look at this from a radar standpoint, the highest winds are actually east of the Purdue Airport. So the winds in Lafayette, if they're making it down to the ground, are likely higher than that, and maybe up to 60 that knock some trees down, and some pretty good wind here around Shadeland too. And everything's dropping once again to the southeast. And there's that wind core that's produced the wind damage just west of Williamsport. We see it right here. And the other one over here. And that's dropping this way too. So we're really watching multiple cores of potential damaging wind that are mixed up in these storms. And this is pulsing up too. We've got some pretty good wind surging out of the storm. Northeast of Dayton as well. So I'm just keeping track of all these gusts, writing them down. So the highest gust we've had so far is northwest of Goldsmith at 60 miles an hour so far. So there are those storms we're talking about. And there they are, dropping southeastward. They're coming into Heath and Buck Creek right now. They're approaching Pettit. We've already got a heavy storm north of Dayton, but the bigger ones are coming in from the northwest. They're about to hit the south side of town near Mason's Ridge and the 350 corridor and areas near Weaw Creek Orchard and Concord, Stockwell, Monroe, and Southwest Point, and into Newtown and Veedersburg and Covington now, with a history of some cores of damaging wind. IU east side from Emily, heavy rain and wind is occurring. We do see hail up in some of these storms. I would say the areas that have the more yellow and orange color have the better chance of getting some pea, diamond, penny-sized hail, especially here with that core that produced the damage west of Williamsport. Let's go back east. Big hail core here, just about to exit our forecast area. It's in southern Tipton County. That is likely 1-inch diameter hail, quarter-sized hail in that gray and pink area. When we wipe on the wind product here, look, core damaging wind kind of surging outward from that storm. The rotation does not look like it did. Wipe that back on. Yeah, everything's kind of morphing together. We don't see a very distinct area rotation like we did. There was one kind of on that, tucked on that southwest side of the storm. Not seeing it quite as much. Now, we still have the tornado possible tag on it, and the quarter-size hail and wind gusts to 60. But this area doesn't look like it's rotating quite as much. There's still a little bit of a thumb appendage there, but this is about to pretty much leaving our forecast area now. The warning will continue a little longer for southern Tipton County. There, the storms Avery, Hillisburg, Skirkleville, right along 28, that rich black 12-mile prairie farm ground we got there. Nice light show tonight out on that prairie ground with that heavy storm moving southeastward towards Pickard and Cyclone. And the bigger storms are upstream from Frankfort, dropping in from the northwest. You're getting some rain and thunder and lightning now, but it's northwest of you where the bigger storms are currently located. Now, I want to mention and I'm going to take one part of this data off the screen. I want to get rid of the special weather statements. We'll get rid of any other data. I just want the warnings on the screen. There we go. I want you to keep in mind, though, that this may be the main line. Behind it, we're going to see likely elevated thunderstorms continuing into the night. Now, this is dropping southeast, but we're probably going to keep storms kind of back building north of the line and dropping southeastward tonight. So again, the flash flooding threat is real here, especially over the heart of our forecast area, where some places are going to get more than 4 inches of rain by 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Getting reports now of Deb's had 2.25 inches of rain since 1:30. So these are just absolute torrential rainfall producers. I'll look back. 1 hour rainfall rates are extremely high. And look at some of these rainfall rates. They're 2-3 inches per hour with these storms in that yellow area. Some really heavy rainfall rates are coming down out of these. So that is why we're getting so many flood advisories. We had a basement wall collapse in Royal Center just a little bit earlier from the flash flooding. And this is just tremendous rainfall that's coming down from Tippecanoe County all the way back through Warren County. And then also in Tipton County and eastern Clinton County. So if you work third shift here, or if you're going to be out early in the morning, you've got kids going to school, watch for flooded roadways and just standing water in low spots in roads, because we are seeing just an absolute torrential downpour of rain. And again, it's not like these are moving overly fast, and then you're going to have elevated storms behind the main line that train tonight. So, some really significant amounts will be here by the morning hours, right in the heart of our area. Again, some places more than 4 inches of rain. We've already had more than 2 in the area, and we're probably getting, given these rainfall rates that I'm seeing in Warren County and northern Fountain and parts of Tippecanoe, we've probably got some locations that are already pushing 3 inches. We're getting terrible rain and wind and lightning by the Target in Lafayette, and also up towards Battleground and Green Hill. Remember, all along that line, just flooding rain, tremendous lightning here. There may be some small hail mixed in at times. Again, peas, dimes, and some pennies in places. And there are some damaging wind cores. We've already had wind damage west of the Williamsport area. We've had gusts more than 50 miles an hour west of Pine Village. We've had winds more than 50 miles an hour east of Fowler as well. Remember that the direction of the wind that we're talking here. So we see a lot of bright colors. We see bright greens and bright reds, and you got to make sure that you're getting the direction right. So green is, the winds are southeast to Indianapolis. So green would be towards the radar. So this green is blowing towards the radar and red would be away. It may be this way, but it may be that way too. So my thinking here is that where you see these bright green and red cores, you've got wind kind of going this way, kind of going west. And here it's a little more northwest, and then it probably turns more northeast and north. So regardless of that, we're just looking for these bright colors at where the wind shifts are to determine where the best chance of getting a gust of 60 is located. And a lot of times when you're just looking at radar data live, you're just trying to discern the colors because they vary. I mean, sometimes green is toward the away from the radar. You just got to get your bearings straight on what radar you're looking at and which way the wind is blowing. But I will tell you that it's where these brighter red and green cores are that I'm concerned about. And we've already had the wind damage west of Williamsport, so we know here we've got some strong wind here, and then right here, again, just be ready. From the city of Lafayette, south of Shadeland, all dropping southeastward here, and the threat is there for winds to 60. Not everybody's getting it, but I'm trying to do my best to show you who has the best chance of getting it. And there's that other 60 mile per hour gust northwest of a Goldsmith. And we're seeing wind that is blowing away from the radar site, but it's strong up in the storm, Rossville to Mulberry. So it may be that this wind is kind of blowing in from the west and a little bit northwest. Whereas the greens, the wind's coming in from the north towards the radar. But regardless, doesn't matter. We're just trying to figure out who could get the wind to 60 or a little more than that. That's the main point here. I'll go back and we'll see what kind of wind we're getting via the anemometer set up. Again, the Purdue Airport gusted to 43 when that came through. We'll see if it's gotten higher. I believe that was after it came through though, so that may be the highest the wind got. Now that's the highest I've got so far is 43 at that particular location. And we're getting more power outages too. Warren County, we've got 349 without power. We still have a lot of power out in Vermilion County, but that's from earlier storms. And it looks like we're getting wind damage here pretty close to the state line, power line down, and that is near Danville. So we're getting more and more of the damage reports. Now this one's in Vermilion County, Illinois, gust to 60 as well. Park County still has 1,953 without power, even as more storms are coming in from the northwest. We're okay in Fountain County so far. And even still here in Jasper County, we still have nearly 700 without power, likely from earlier storms that we've had. But the power outages are climbing in Vermilion and far northern Vermilion from what I'm seeing, Warren County, and they will likely be climbing in Fountain County. The last update was we really didn't have any big outages just yet. So it's 2:16. It's been about, what has it been? 15 minutes since I've done a reset. And it's always good to do a quick reset here on what we're talking about. You go through all the data, and then it's like, okay, we need to regroup. We need to do a reset here. We need to see what time we've got, and we need to let all of our new viewers joining me now get an update on what's happened and what's going on out there right now. Well, first things first, we've got a big flash flooding threat tonight, and you're going to want to be careful in the morning if you've got travel plans, because we've got a slew of flood advisories. We got a flash flood warning in Benton County, and we're going to see additional flash flood warnings into the night. Now, we've got one severe thunderstorm that's over here in Tipton County. That's just about to slip out of our area. Torrential rainfall. We've had more than 2.5 inches of rain in parts of the county. We're likely going to have flood advisories or flood warnings come out soon. If we're getting a gust of 60, it's likely here just north of Atlanta and just to the south of Petersburg. We've already had a gust of 60 northwest of Goldsmith. And this is dropping to the southeast. Going to be moving into Hamilton County. So there's where your strong wind is. It is rotating a little more, but that's just outside of our forecast area right now. This is wind blowing towards the radar. This is wind kind of blowing away, and even some of this wind is kind of blowing away from the radar site. But still a gust of 60 possible there. And there is hail mixed up in this too that may be quarter size near Atlanta, north of Arcadia, and just to the northwest of Arcadia too. Very heavy wind near Harrison High School right now. And just a lot of reports of tremendous lightning with this. The skies are just lit up tonight with all the lightning going on. Pea-sized hail possible east of Frankfort. We did have a gust of 40 miles an hour northeast of Michigan town. We may still be getting some gusts 40 or a little more than that, maybe 50 in eastern Clinton County as well. We see those there. And then we go to the west where we've got all the warnings that are up with this intense line of storms. It is southern Carroll. It's northwest Clinton for the next 11 minutes, and we'll probably have warnings reissued, and they'll be a little farther to the south into Boone County and the rest of Clinton County, rest of Montgomery, rest of Fountain. Tippecanoe County for another 11 minutes. Severe thunderstorm warning. The entire county. Northern Montgomery County, northern Fountain County. It's the southern part of Warren County, and northern Vermilion County is under the warning. If you're just joining me, we know we've had wind damage, trees, power lines down west of Williamsport, not far from the state line here, power lines down. And we know we've measured gusts more than 50 miles an hour east of Fowler with 51. We've had gusts over here to 52. The Purdue Airport did record a gust of 43. Now, Round Grove, I had one gust 31, and then west of there 40. And then again, I think I mentioned the Michigan Town gust, northeast of Michigan Town, gust of 40 as well. Now within this line, from Rossville and Battleground all the way back to Hedrick and Covington, there is some pockets of pea-sized hail. We can see it right here from a radar standpoint. Some of it is getting down to the surface. Peas, maybe some dimes here. And that goes anywhere from Rossville and Dayton, also around Shaylin, all the way back to Newtown and north of Covington. Not everybody's getting the hail, but there's some hail mixing into some of these cores. The other thing is, there are cores of damaging wind mixed up in this. Now we got to remember the direction our wind is going. So with the wind being a little more out of the southeast at Indy, the green is towards the radar, red's away. So given that, we know that the reds are away from the radar. They may be this way, they may be this way. Green is more towards that radar, like this. Now, in a normal situation, you might say, well, those are areas of rotation. Most likely, given how linear this thing is, what we're probably getting are strong west to northwest winds here, and then north to northeast winds directly behind it. So we have wind here, and then the wind shifts. So that's likely what we're seeing. But the wind is strong here. The wind is strong here. It's quite strong here, back here, and then down here. We know we see it on radar. They've had a history of it. Now here's the thing though. How much of the wind energy is making it down to the surface? I've noticed that some of these storms in the data are not completely surface based. That is, they're rooted just a little bit above surface base rather than right at ground level. So there's no guarantee that everybody's getting the wind down to the ground. Now, we are going to watch these areas to see if we get some red and green tightening on the edges. And if we start to see storm structures that look like they're rotating, well, I'm going to let you know. The only storm we've really seen that's shown more impressive rotation is this one over here now in northern Hamilton County and the one in Tipton County. These are a little more linear. There's a little bit more of a wind threat with these, and it's probably water-loaded wind because it's raining so incredibly hard in northwest Clinton through Tippecanoe, northern Fountain, southern Warren County, northern Vermilion County. I mean, this rain is coming down. I mean, these rates are 2 to 4 inches an hour. So flash flooding is a real concern with any of these storms coming through our area right now. I haven't done any storm tracking for a while, so I think this is a good time to do it. We're still going to take these at what we got here, 38 miles an hour. Let's stick with that. Still getting reports of power outages in Benton County. We've got Warren County outages that are being reported. Looking at the map here, it looks like the outage count is a 350 in Warren County. It's not so bad in Benton County, actually, at 14. Nearly 700 in Jasper County, though, still. More than 100 in Newton. We're pushing 40 in White, pushing 40 in Tippecanoe. We're okay in Montgomery. We've got outages from earlier storms in Park County at 1900. And we'll await the data to come out of Tipton County. We don't have anyone without power, but if we've had gusts of 60 there, well, this is going to update, and we're probably going to have some outages that show up in that location. So we'll go ahead and just draw the track. Let's track the Rossville to Covington line first, and then we'll go and do some more analysis here. And then we'll take it from Rossville and Stockwell, Linden, south of Hillsborough and Perrysville. Drop it this way southeastward, like so. And the times of arrival. So Linden, 9 minutes. We're talking Thorntown, half an hour. Crawfordsville, 18 minutes. Alamo, 22. Wallace, 25, a half hour to Kingman, and more than a half an hour to Marshall, more than a half an hour to Waveland, more than a half an hour to Ladoga, New Ross, Advance, and Lebanon. But it's going to take a little longer to get to Sheridan and those places. But we're minutes away here from southeast of Stockwell through Linden and Waynetown and south of Edersburg and south of Perrysville. And it's just constant thunder, and it's absolute constant lightning here. This storm that is in Clinton County is kind of training. That one's a little hard to track, and it's kind of filling in. It's actually kind of moving eastward a little bit here. But just tremendous rainfall that is coming down. I mean, you can see how it's working southeast, but my goodness, it's 2 to 4 inch per hour rainfall rates. And the problem is, yeah, you've got this main line where you've got, severe weather here, some pockets of severe weather here. But you look upstream, look what's coming. It's just training rain and storm. So it's going to be raining and storming all night and into tomorrow morning. And then finally we're going to get this thing to diminish towards midday tomorrow. We'll get it kind of out of here, all of it out of here. The intensity will decrease even in the morning. But we've got a lot of rain to get through tonight. And there are just going to be some big flooding issues. I am just worried about this corridor in the heart of our area. Now, it's not going to take much rain up here to the north to make flooding because the soils are so saturated, and the same applies for Howard and Tipton County. But you've got all this rain coming in, and we're going to see amounts exceed 4 inches in this zone. So you got to watch those creeks and streams, parking lots, streets, roadways if you're out in the morning. And the worst of these storms right now, they are really from that Tipton, Kempton corridor, and especially Rossville, Greater Lafayette, Romney, Stockwell, Newtown, Attica, back to Covington area. Tremendous rainfall, tremendous lightning. There's likely some small hail mixed in. And we're still getting evidence of potential pockets of damaging wind. The winds have generally been more coming in out of the west to northwest, and then they turn to the north when the storms come through. There's quite a wall of wind turning more to the north here, south side of Lafayette and southward. It's unclear how much of that wind energy is making it down to the ground, but I can tell you from a radar standpoint, this is wind that we're watching, wind here and the wind back here. Wiping the rainfall back on the screen, we've had almost 2 1/3 inches at Rainsville. Some of the other rainfall totals in our area include, we've already had 1.5 inches on the north side of Lafayette. And West Lafayette's had anywhere from 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches, and it's still pouring. We've had 1.8 inches east of Boswell. We've had more than 2 inches west of Pine Village. Attica's picked up about 1 2/10 inches. Let's see what else we've got here. East of Fowler, we've had nearly 1 inch of rain, where we had that gust of 51. The rainfall totals are less in the north. They vary from 1/2 inch to 6 7/10. Remington's had 9/10. We've only had 1/3 of an inch though at Kentland, almost 1/2 inch at Reynolds. I got a report here of more than 1.5 inches at Burlington. We're getting 1 to 2 inch rainfall amounts coming out of Tipton County. Northeast of Michigan Town, we've had almost 1 inch of rain. South of Michigan Town, only 37 hundredths right now. Totals in Greater Lafayette include, I got a Weehaw Plains total of 1.7 inches of rain. South side of Lafayette, down towards Veterans, has had, looks like some places have had 9/10 already. We got a downtown Lafayette gauge with 1.4 inches of rain. And now we're starting to see the totals really jump up. Now we're pushing 2 inches here in parts of West Lafayette near the Research Park. So again, flash flooding, a real issue here at these kinds of, at the rates that I'm seeing. And more than 1 inch in Dayton, and more than 1.5 inches west of Martell Forest, more than 1.5 inches southeast of Pine Village. I've only got 1/2 inch at Delphi, 1/3 of an inch at the Florida Airport. We've had 8/10 at Galveston measured, and almost 1 inch at Walton. So those are some of the totals that we've got right now. So who's clear for the main severe weather? No power in Rainy Brook right now on the southwest side of Lafayette. More than 1 inch of rain at Kirkland. So the worst of the severe is Tipton. I'm going to circle it. This is the area that's got the big severe weather threat. Tipton, Sheridan, and it's all along this line right here. Rushville right on the edge. Still severe weather risk there. Kempton back to Frankfort, and then all areas of the south, because the line is working in that general direction. Now farther north, I think the threat is more just flooding rain. Now it's flooding rain with the line of storms too, but it is the severe weather risk that I'm watching more than anything here. Now we don't have any warnings. It look like the warnings have expired. But still evidence that we're probably still getting a couple of cores of gusts to 60 here in the line. You know, here and over here, that wind surging forward. We've lost power by McCutcheon. And I should probably, okay, my phone's got enough juice in it just in case. I want to make sure here. These three cores, it sure looks like we've got some damaging wind that may come out of this storm at any time whatsoever. I think we'd have more damaging wind if not for the fact that some of these storms are what we call just a little bit elevated. They're rooted above a little bit of a stable layer, just above ground level. So not all of the wind energy is making it down to the surface, but some of it is. We've had reports of damaging wind. And right now what I'm going to do is just take a moment to go through all the wind gusts that we've had in our area. I'll take you out a little bit. Going to do my best to make sure those city and town names show up fairly well. There's your line of storms right there. We'll do storm tracking in just a moment, but I want to see where we are wind-wise. How high the winds have gotten. I've already got a list of gusts that have been measured here at 10 meters. And we're going to see how high the winds are elsewhere in the area. We're gusting to 37 near Concord at Lafayette Timber House Arrow. West of Martell Forest, the gusts so far have actually not been that high. They've been around 27, so that's good news. We'll take the lower gusts. And some of you are asking, how long is this going to take to pass? It is going to take a while. This is a big, thick line of heavy storms. It's only moving at about 35 to 40 miles an hour. So it is going to take time to come through. New flash flood warning is up for Tippecanoe County, southern Warren, and northern Fountain counties for this tremendous rainfall that is coming down right now. Flash flood warning is up for the next 5 hours. So this goes through 7:30 in the morning. So we're going to have some flash flooding issues likely into the morning hours. No tornado warning for Lafayette right now. I'm getting a question about that. We do not have a tornado warning. We have a flash flood warning that is up right as we speak. We did have a severe thunderstorm warning for a gust to 60 possible. I would still say we've got the risk of a gust to 60 in the southern and southeast part of the county, and also northwest Montgomery, and then down here in central Fountain County, and northwest Clinton for that matter. I would still be ready for a random rain-loaded gust to 60. You just got to be ready for that, because we know the wind energy is not that far off the ground. At any point it could reach the surface. We've already seen that west of Williamsport with wind damage. We've had wind damage near the state line, and also northwest of Goldsmith. And not only that, but we just have a tremendous amount of clouded ground lightning tonight. One of the best light shows we've had in a long time. I'm not seeing any other, trying to get some gust data here to see how high the winds have gotten. I'm not getting anything from that Attica station. It may have taken a lightning hit. It may have taken a power cut. The winds are coming in out of the northwest. They're southeast of Covington. And we're gusting to 28. And we'll take a gust to 28. We could do without any gust of 50 or 60. We've had enough of that. We've had enough tree damage and wind damage around the area. I'm okay with that. And the storms are roaring into Linden right now, Waynetown, and now they are just northwest of Kingman. It is just a loud night here in Perrysville and Petersburg, all the way through Lafayette and Williamsport, Mulberry, and Rossville. And you keep getting the lightning. Even as the heaviest of the rain begins to gradually subside, there's just a tremendous light show on the backside of these storms as well. And we're still getting gusts near 40 northeast of Michigan Town, even with those storms. But I'm mainly just watching this corridor from near Rossville to Stockwell to Romney, Dayton, Newtown, Malott, Wingate, Hillsborough, Petersburg, Covington, Perrysville, and Waynetown. And then you get all these other storms in Clinton County that are moving through. And that storm that's just taking forever to get through Tipton County. This rain, we'll look at rainfall totals again here in just a moment. I've only had just a few hail reports. We had Talbot, we had Round Grove. I've had hail in southwest Tipton County that was dime sized. We've had dime hail near Swanington and Benton County, the P's at Round Grove, the P's at Talbot. But those are the only hail reports that I've received. From a radar perspective, we still have some small hail in some of these storms coming down, especially where you see the yellows and the oranges. The biggest hail we have is right on the Hamilton-Tipton County line, where that could be quarter size. But it's small hail elsewhere. I haven't heard any hail here at the house, and I can always hear it, and you can get a good idea how big the hail is based on the sound it makes. And all I've heard is just very heavy rain here. North side of Lafayette's had more than 2 inches of rain now. We've had 2.35 inches in West Lafayette. We got a report here northwest of the Purdue Airport of 2.37. We've had 2 1/4 near Celery Bog. We've had 1 2/3 inches downtown, where we've had more than 1 inch on the south side of Lafayette. We're now pushing 2 inches east of Attica. We've had almost 2 inches in Attica. We've had 2 1/3 south of Rainsville. We've had 2 1/4 west of Pine Village. We've had nearly 2 east of Boswell. I do have a report more than 1.5 inches now east of Dayton. We're getting 1 1/4 and 1.5 inches rain amounts now in northwestern and western Clinton County. We've had about, I've got a report here of 1.8 inches at Burlington. Multiple reports of 2 and 3 inches of rain coming out of Tipton County now. And some of that rain, some places have had 2 inches of rain just in 1 hour from these storms. And the amounts are less as you go northward. Now, Royal Center, we've had more than 1.5 inches. We had a basement wall collapse at Royal Center, an hour and a half ago? We've been on for 1.5 hours, so this was more than 1.5 hours ago. getting reports of water over Highway 218 in the area of 500 East, just west of Walton now. Walton's had, well, southwest of Walton reports of an inch and 2/3, and we've had an inch of rain in Walton. In terms, I mentioned some of the hail reports. We'll go over these wind reports if you're just joining me, because we've got more and more people in on the in on our coverage now. So the history of these, it's been the small hail, the flooding rain, and the tremendous cloud-to-ground lightning. Winds have gusted to 51 east of Fowler, 52 Pine Village, 60 northwest of Goldsmith, 43 Purdue Airport, 40 northeast of Michigan Town, 40 near Round Grove. And the rest of the gusts, for example, the one gust near Concord was nearly 40, but did not exceed 40. I believe it was 37. I don't think we've gotten the gust over 37 miles an hour at the Timber House Airport near Concord. Yeah, peak gust was 37 miles an hour there. And the gusts even southeast of Covington, where we're getting the gauge is reading an inch of rain. The gusts have not exceeded 30 miles an hour. Now again, when we look at a radar standpoint, some of these winds look intense. We've got a new warning up, severe thunderstorm warning for a gust to 60. Linden, southwest of Stockwell, south of Romney, Darlington, New Ross, Ladoga, Crawfordsville, Advance, and west of Thorntown, all included in this severe thunderstorm warning. And right there is your wind. You can see it. This is surging towards the radar site. So now these winds are just blowing directly towards the radar. This is your wind that's blowing out of that storm. No guarantee everybody's getting the gust of 60, but we see it on the radar. But you know, there's pretty good wind blowing kind of away from the radar over here towards Frankfort too. So I think this whole area, you know, you got to watch for a potential gust of 60 miles an hour. I'll just put the storm velocity on there so it shows up better. And yeah, right there's your wind. Right here, and then especially right here around Stockwell. I want to put kind of a dotted area where the wind is the most intense. This is dropping towards Darlington, Thorntown. Crawfordsville is included in the warning, New Ross and Advance, but I would almost consider Colfax in that warning, and even just to the west of Frankfort. And there's small hail that is possible within it too. So that's the new severe thunderstorm warning. That is for the next 30 minutes for southeast Tippecanoe, western Boone, and the north or pretty much the eastern half of Montgomery County. And you know, you could kind of fit southwest Clinton show up. Or you could put the southwest part of Clinton County within that warning. I'm reading comments and I'm tracking at the same time, so I'm multitasking here. And that part of the line is surging forward a little bit too. So there's your new warning that is out. We'll do another storm track on all of this. Track it at 38 miles an hour. And we'll do something like this. Again, this tracking is not perfect. I'm going to do my best to be as accurate as I can. And there are the times of arrival. And I want to redo that track. Some of these times just do not seem correct. I got to be honest with you here. That doesn't seem right. I've got 38 minutes. I will bump it up to 40. To be safe. And let's try this again. Let's try it again. Draw it out. There. Let's try this one more time. I want to make sure I'm as accurate as I possibly can be. And we'll draw it like so. So here we go. Newmarket 7 minutes, Waveland 15. This seems more accurate. I don't know what I clicked there. Advance 27 minutes, probably half an hour to Lebanon. So this is how I would draw this. So right here, it's less than 10 minutes away. Here, it's probably about half an hour. And here, it's closer to about, I would say, 45 minutes. And then in between, you've got what? About 20 minutes away. So that would mean that Newmarket, it's less than 10 minutes. Marshall, it's closer to 20. Waveland's closer to 20 minutes. I would say Thorntown is a few minutes away. There is a tree blocking the road, North Salisbury and North Street in West Lafayette. Thank you, Jason. Very important report there. Very helpful. Wind and rain east side of Crawfordsville. Partial power being asked by Amy in Shadeland. We'll go through the power outages here in just one moment. That's the first report of wind damage anyway in West Lafayette. Tree blocking the road. Again, North Salisbury and North Street. Heavy rain, wind, and lightning south of Linden from Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer. I think Jennifer has sent some really great weather picks before. I think she was weather pick of the week a few weeks ago. And a tremendous amount of lightning indeed. A lot of comment on that. Rochdale, it's about a half an hour away. Jamestown, it's about a half an hour. I would say Whitestown's about a half an hour away too. So those are just estimates. I'm doing my best to I'll draw the track out and then I'll tweak it if needed. If I think the track is, when I draw it, it's off a little bit. But that gives you an idea of the times of arrival a little bit here. And then these storms near Kirkland are kind of moving east, actually. These are moving this way, while these are moving this way, and almost moving more south-southeast now. Now, in terms of power outages right now, getting questions about that, I'm going to broaden out for you for just a moment so you can get a big picture of what's happening. So as of nearly 3 o'clock in the morning, it's 2:50 right now, and outages, I'm going to try to refresh my data here and give you the most accurate outages. We now have 2,039 customers without power in Tippecanoe County. We now have 350 in Warren County. It's still around 1,000 in Vermilion County. Nearly 1,900 in Park County. Newton County still is more than 100 without power. Jasper County is nearly 700. We don't have as many in White County, 39, and even Benton County, where we had that gust of 51 east of Fowler, only 14. The outages aren't so bad there, and so far the outage is not so bad in Montgomery County, but I'm sure that will change. And the same thing in Boone County too, and Clinton County, and Tipton. We got 30 out in Howard County right now. Power is out in West Lafayette. And I'm getting questions about I can't see the town names on my phone. You can rotate it the other way. They'll be a little bit larger on your screen. And I've zoomed out right now just to give you a broad view of what's going on. You'll be able to see them better once I zoom in. But at times I just need to broaden out a little bit so everybody can see what's going on. So here's a broad view. I'm going to loop this. We see the main line working southeastward. Some of these are bulging a little more south-southeastward here. But these are moving southeastward. Now here's the problem with that. These are going to kind of train over the same areas that have already been hit. We also have some pretty heavy rain here that's training. And there's some additional showers and storms behind the main line in northern Illinois that are going to be training southeastward as well. And some of these storms have already dumped 3 inches of rain. And we've got more to get through during the night and into the morning hours. So the flash flooding threat is real, and we have got a lot of flash flood warnings. Benton County, part of Warren County, Fountain, Tippecanoe County under a flash flood warning. Now Clinton County, Carroll County, Howard, Tipton, all under flash flood warnings. Flood advisories are up. Pulaski, Fulton, Cass, part of Carroll County too. So a lot of flooding issues developing as expected tonight. We've already had a basement wall collapse with heavy street flooding in Royal Center. We've got multiple areas where 218 has water over it west of Walton. I would venture to say we're starting to get water over some roadways in the heart of our forecast area. That's where I'm most alarmed for the heaviest rainfall tonight. The rainfall is going to exceed 4 inches in this zone into the night. We've already had gusts to 60 near Goldsmith. We've got wind damage west of Williamsport. We know we've had gusts more than 50 west of Pine Village and east of Fowler. There's probably other areas of wind damage. We know we've got one tree blocking Salisbury and West Lafayette. We got a lot of power out in the area. Parts of West Lafayette and Lafayette have power. Other areas do not. And it appears... I want to get an idea of where some of the bigger outages are, specifically in the heart of our area. And it looks like at least in Tippecanoe County, Purdue Energy, there's a core of outages west of the Purdue Airport. We've got a core of outages just north of Chauncey. There are outages on the southwest side, Rainy Brook area. And we've got some outages centered just south of downtown in the Highland Park area. So those are just some of the pockets where we've got the outages right now, at least in Greater Lafayette. And we've got other outages. I mean, we've got outages that popped up northeast of Burlington, Kokomo, now south of Tipton near Atlanta, east of Plevna in Howard County, north of Attica. And then a lot of outages in Vermilion County, mainly from earlier storms because these storms haven't hit that area yet. But in northern Vermilion County, we've got quite a few outages around Cayuga and Newport. 159 customers without power there, for that matter. Let's see here. Looking at other data. Okay. So given all that, as of, well, now we're almost to 3 o'clock in the morning, the only warning that we have is for this part of the line near Crawfordsville and Darlington. That's the area that's shown the greatest surge of that wind forward. And we can really see it when we subtract the movement of the storms. And right there it is. It's really this area that has the best shot of getting a gust to 60 miles an hour. And even near the city of Crawfordsville and not that far from Frankfort. So this is the kind of core area that I'm watching for the risk of some gusts to 60. And that includes Thorntown, Darlington, and Colfax. We're going to watch that area near the Frankfort airport too. And we'll see how high the winds get in that location. Right now at the Frankfort airport, at last check, the winds were east with a temperature of 72. The Purdue airport gusts we peaked at 43 when the storms came through. And elsewhere, that's really the core area that we're looking at right now. It's this, this kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. That's the area that's got the best shot at truly severe weather. Wind that will knock tree limbs down, power lines down, and we've already got a lot of power outages. Now, indeed, some of it may be from lightning, but where some of the outages are clustering is where we've had wind damage reports. I mean, again, West Lafayette, we got that tree down. We got trees, power lines down here. There's your 60-mile-per-hour gust here. And there are clusters near those winds that we are it's a combination of outages and the wind damage reports, if I can spit that out. Tree and roadway, Summit and Lindbergh. In West Lafayette. I'm just keeping track of all of our reports that we get. There are probably other trees down, but we just don't know where they are because it is still kind of it's the middle of the night. And we're not going to see it. We'll probably get a few more reports with time. So if you're just joining me now, we're still tracking these storms, and the severe ones are near Frankfort all the way down to Crawfordsville right now. That's where the best chance of severe weather currently lies. The rest is just, it's a little gusty, and they're just loud. Boisterous thunder, a lot of lightning. There may be a little bit of small hail mixed in, especially west of Crawfordsville, and in some of these stronger winded storms where we've got the warning, southeast Tippecanoe County, western Clinton, and into northern Montgomery County. And the rain has been absolutely torrential. And the problem is, and I don't want to be too repetitive on this, but I can't emphasize enough, these are moving more south-southeast, these storms. But these storms here are trending more east-southeastward. So these are going to train over these same areas right here, right in the heart of our area and into some of our southern counties too. And then you get all this rain up to the north that's training and some thunder and lightning there as well. So we've already had 3-inch rainfall amounts. And we're getting 2.5-inch rain amounts now in Greater Lafayette, well over an inch on the south side of Lafayette, but it's more on the north side and towards West Lafayette where we're getting some plus 2.5-inch amounts. We're seeing now 2 and 3-inch amounts in Tipton and Howard County, southeast Carroll County, plus 2-inch amounts. We've had 2 1/3 inches near Rainsville, 2.38 for that matter. We've had 2 1/3 at Foster in southern Warren County. We've had now 1.88 inches southeast of Covington. We're quickly going up in Montgomery County, more than 1/2 inch. Northwest side of Crawfordsville. Mulberry area, the rain's adding up too. East of there, we've had 2 inches of rain come down so far. Galveston's had more than an inch, more than an inch and 2/3 Deacon, more than an inch at Walton, pushing an inch at Logansport, not as much there, but we had more than 1.5 inches at Royal Center, where we had that basement wall collapse. An inch at Remington, but only near 4/10 so far anyway at Kentland. And we've had 1 inch of rain east of Fowler. So that's where we stand with some of these pretty prolific rainfall totals. Even right in Tipton, we've had 2.5 inches of rain. Kirkland's had 1 inch of rain, more than an inch of rain being reported. We've had an inch, almost an inch and a half near Linden in the Cherry Grove area. Romney's had an inch and a third reported. And in the Concord area, we've had about an inch and a half of rain that has come down. So that's where we stand, at least right now, with the rainfall totals. And again, there's a broad look at where we stand with the warnings and where the line is located right now. I'm going through data, like wind data right now. Let's see here. Again, we have 2 trees down in West Lafayette that I'm aware of. One was over Lindbergh and Summit, and then we had another one on Salisbury. I think that, what was that, 5th Street or 9th? I think it was 5th. I can't remember. I think it was 5th Street that we had a tree down there as well. Let's see here. And just going through everything. I always want to overturn. I always want to turn every rock here to make sure I'm getting all the latest information. I want to give that to you as quickly as I can. Okay. Bear with me for one moment while it's kind of quiet while I gather info here. And okay. We're going to get back to tracking here in just a moment. I'm going through everything right now. There we go. Okay. So still, the storms are still going strong in Fountain County. Most of the counties covered in storms. Far southern Warren County, heavy storms. We're getting a lull here. Things are breaking here in Lafayette and West Lafayette. The worst in terms of severe weather risk is with the line, and that has moved out of Lafayette. It's kind of getting into our southern counties now, but here's the thing about all this. So, and I just mentioned this, but I want to make sure that everybody's aware of what's going on that are coming back online. Some are leaving, some are coming back online, others are leaving, some are going back to bed. But I have to update, about every 15 minutes you want to update just so everybody's in the know. These storms are moving more south-southeast, like so. And we have had very heavy rain with these. 2 inches from Steve, East Union Street in Lafayette. Typical of the totals we're getting out of Tippecanoe County. Many reports of 1.5 inches to 3 inches of rain. More than 3 inches of rain now showing up in Tipton County. And we're getting more in the way of 2-inch reports and 2+ inch reports coming out of Warren and Fountain County. So those heavy storms are moving southeastward. We've had a few scattered severe gusts in them. We've had reports of at least a couple of trees down in West Lafayette. We've got damage west, tree and power line damage west of Williamsport. We've had a gust of 60 northwest of Goldsmith. We know that the winds have been measured at 52 at Pine Village and 51 east of Fowler, 43 at the Purdue Airport, 40 northeast of Michigan Town. And the problem is that even though the severe part of the line is dropping south-southeast, there are some really other heavy storms here in Illinois. Now, these are going to kind of train over this same area. And this rain's going to continue to train over these counties for a while. If we look upstream, I'll pull the Lincoln radar, and even Davenport, you know, we still have all of this, and then you've got this that's moving more east-southeast than south-southeast. So the rainfall, again, is going to add up. We're going to end up with multiple areas of more than 4 inches of rain by later tonight and into these morning hours. I mean, we're technically in the morning hours now. So that's the worry tonight with just the training of the storms. The severe weather threat may diminish to a degree. I mean, the worst of the severe weather threat was with the line. Now, we do have other storms here in Illinois, and we will have to watch those for an isolated severe weather threat. But I'm more concerned about just the very heavy rain, the flooding. And we're going to continue to get a lot of lightning and thunder. These storms are going to keep you up into the night and then through the morning. It's 3:08 right now. So watch if you're headed to school. Flooded roadways, some flooded parking lots. There may be some trees down on some county roads that we're not aware of yet, that aren't in cities, you know, or big limbs that may be down where we've had some cores of damaging wind. At least right now, the only warning we have is west of Thorntown and southeast of Darlington. It's for Advance and New Ross. But I can tell you, if we kind of do an x-ray of these storms, that's generally where the highest winds are showing up. They're just south of Frankfort, they're west of Lebanon, they're Advance, New Ross, and then south of Crawfordsville. They're right in this zone here. We see those. They're really surging forward towards the radar now. Some of the storms are kind of surging away from the radar, but this green is pointed right at the radar because in Indy, the wind's southeast. The southeast wind, the wind's blowing towards the radar. The green's away. I'll subtract the storm movement, and the wind really shows up here. So right there it is. Again, it's south of Frankfort. It's west of Kirkland. It's west of Lebanon. We're likely going to be getting some gusts in places that are up to 60 miles an hour. Some of this wind is actually starting to surge out away from the main area of rain. And some of that may be more than 50 south of Ladoga. So there's the warning, gusts to 60 and some sub-severe hail. And even outside of that warning, we're still showing a little bit of small pea hail, like near Frankfort and Sheridan and Crawfordsville and north of Marshall and near Covington. Little bits of pea hail, not bigger hail like we had earlier, but little bits of pea hail may mix in. I've had several reports of pea to dime hail tonight. It was all up near Talbot in Benton County, Round Grove area. Dime hail west of Swanington. We had some dime hail in western or southwestern Tipton County as well. So that's where we all stand right now. We'll do another storm track on this because I think this is a good time to do a storm track on this warned part at Lebanon. We'll draw it. Drop it a little southeastward. Whitestown, 19 minutes. Gadsden, 20. Milledgeville, 8. It's coming into Lebanon now. 7 minutes, New Brunswick. Fayette, 16 minutes. Royalton, 21. There's Northfield, 25. Zionsville, 26 minutes. And it's coming right into Ladoga right as we speak. And then at Kirkland, the storms are closing in from the northwest. Going to be there within a matter of minutes. To your location, and we'll do a quick little track of them into Sheridan. And there's Sheridan, 16 minutes, and again, we're minutes away at Kirkland, 8 minutes at Elizaville, Terhune 11 minutes. That's where we are right now. So the worst of it has left Romney. It's left Newtown. It's left Linden. It's left Stockwell and Mulberry, the worst of it. And Rougeaville and Sharpsville. The worst of the storms are running from Atlanta and south of Tipton through Kempton. You know, it has been storming. I bet it's been storming, let's see here, for probably a solid hour and a half in southern Tipton County and southern or parts of eastern Clinton County. So again, these areas, we're probably getting more than 3 inches of rain now in those locations. So how much rain have we had? Do a quick rain update. And it's absolutely pouring at Thorntown. Again, in Tippecanoe County, the totals vary anywhere from an inch and a third in the southern and southeastern part of the county. And once you get into the heart of Greater Lafayette, the totals in some places have exceeded 2.5 inches to even 2.8 inches. And downtown, we're pushing 2 inches of rain. Same thing for West Lafayette. Multiple places have had more than 2 to 2.5 inches of rain. In Clinton County, we're getting 2-inch reports now around Mulberry. We've had more than 1.5 inches at Rossville, an inch at Middle Fork. We've had a lot of places around 1 inch of rain. And so far we've had more than 1 inch of rain at Frankfort, and we've had 1.25 inches near Kirkland. But I got a gauge here. Well, the Sheridan Airport has had 2.47 inches of rain. And similar totals are being found just to the southwest of Kempton. So tremendous rain has come down. So we've got flooding. We've got all kinds of flood warnings up right now. Benton, Warren, Tippecanoe, Clinton, Carroll, Howard, and Tipton counties in northern Vermilion County is all under a flash flood warning right now. Now, the best news I have, well, the worst of the line is down here, south of Tipton. Now it's in Frankfort. That's not so good news. Still got to get through there. It's in Crawfordsville. It's in southern Montgomery County. Covington, it's still storming. And it's still storming through that entire zone. Now, if we look closely here at the movement, I'm going to bring this down to 7 frames. And we can see the line is sagging south-southeastward. There. However, look what's happening here in Illinois. The storms are moving more east-southeastward. So the problem we're going to get is training. And areas that have already had 1.5 inches, 2, 3, more than 3 inches of rain. So even though this is moving south-southeastward, with the risk of still some severe weather, these are kind of moving east-southeastward. So some of these same areas are going to get back in on heavy storms. And then you get all this rain up here that's falling too. And when I pull up the Chicago radar, we can see what's lining up to the west. These storms here are actually moving east. So we've got these that are going to keep moving east-southeastward. You've got these that are moving more east. So this whole zone is going to just have training through the night and into the morning hour. I mean, I say the night. It's technically morning. It's 3:17, but the rest of the night into the morning hours. And then you've got back building rainfall up here near Chicago. And this is kind of moving southeast. So even that's training. The worst of the training is heart of the area and southward. But even up here, we're getting some training of rainfall. So we're going to end up, especially in the heart of the area, easily more than 4 inches of rain. And when you combine that with the Wabash that has already, I believe it just crested 5 feet above flood stage in Lafayette. When you combine that, this is going to become a big flooding situation. Now we got to look at where the heaviest rain has fallen. Now, at least tonight, the heaviest rain so far has been, I think, Tipton, Clinton, Tippecanoe, here into Warren County. It's kind of been this zone right here so far. The Wildcat kind of flows out of Howard County this way. Now, there have been some pretty heavy amounts in southern Howard. But you got to follow where the water is going to be flowing. And you got to look at a stream map of where all the water is going to be, what tributaries are flowing to the Wabash. Now, the worst scenario we could have for a major Wabash flood is if we got not only did we get 8 inches here, let's say, but we also got, say, 8 inches of rain up here in the Wabash Basin. That'd be the worst case scenario. Because all that water is going to go, it's going to go here and it's going to go here feeding in. And there's going to be a bottleneck at Lafayette. So we need to watch where the heaviest rain's going to occur in the coming hours and even into tomorrow night and into the weekend. Now, getting reports 4 inches of rain west edge of Boswell, more than 2.5 inches, Old State Road 25 and County Road 500 north. Power is out near Rainsville. We got part of Rainy Brook without power. Half of our house has power, according to Nick. So a lot of outages, a lot of power outages in the area. And I'll do a quick update on the outage information. We've got almost 1,900 without power in Park County still. In Vermilion County, almost 1,000 still. And some of these outages have been recently in the northern part of the county there. 350 without power in Warren County. Now, Fountain County, it's not overly bad. It's 43. Tippecanoe County, though, it's more than 2,100 households without power. Now, Montgomery County is actually not as bad as I thought it would be. Again, trying to keep this updated as best I can, that is. And this is a combination of Duke Energy, all the REMC, I can't even talk. I'm doing like 5 things at once, and it's like taking a watermelon and trying to just shove it into a tiny space. It's like trying to get all this information out. My mouth is only so small. Let's try that again. Montgomery County is not as bad as I thought it would be so far. At last check, and when all of the power companies are combined, we've got 4 without power, but I am sure that will rise. Clinton County, I don't have any outages there, oddly enough. We have nearly 200 in White County and nearly 100 in Carroll County. So some of the outages are a little surprising due to the lack of them. And even after the storms we had yesterday, we still have almost 700 without power in Jasper County and more than 100 in Newton County. So the overall, the biggest outages we have right now, Tippecanoe County and Warren County. And that makes sense based on the storms that we've had, the line that's gone through. So that's where we stand right now. No warnings up now. The line looks a little ragged, honestly. I would bet probably what's happening is the wind is surging out of the line and it's disrupting the inflow into it. So it may actually be weakening a little bit. 400 west near 800 south, no power. Thank you, Lisa. Kathleen, Chesapeake Landing, half power, half not. Then there's your ragged line of storms that looks a little less organized than it did. It's still pumping out the lightning and the heavy rain, no doubt. It's probably still a little gusty with it, but I would bet money that we've got the gust front surging out ahead of it. And you'll be, yep, there it is. That's your gust front. Looks like it's about right here. It's surging out at that red line. It's now down to Greencastle. The wind surging out of those storms. Wouldn't surprise me if there's still some decent wind in this in Lebanon and Liston area. That's kind of getting out of my forecast jurisdiction. But right here, I'd still watch that for some pretty strong wind. I'll see what kind of wind we're getting in Boone County right now. I know when this storm went over the Frankfurt airport, that gust was 32, so not overly bad. That's still decent wind with the storm, but certainly could be a lot worse. Wind has gusted to 30 at the Crawfordsville airport. I want to check out Lebanon. Let's see what we have here at Lebanon. I'll wipe on some of the data here. There we go. So south of Lebanon, what we got here? Yeah, the winds are sustained at 20, so we may be getting gusts quite a bit higher than that. Let's see what we have at Thorntown, because that higher wind went right over the Thorntown area. We'll loop it again real quick. You see that bowling ball of wind. Let me go back 21 frames here. There's the storm relative velocity. Let's get that to update again. There it is. Racing southeastward and southward. I'll take the high-res velocity here, get a better view of it. Let's go back 30 frames and let's take that wall of wind. There it is. You see it right there dropping southeastward and southward through Advance and Thorntown. That's a little weaker in the Lebanon area. We know the winds are sustained though at 20 there. So it appears, let's see what we've got here. The gust at Darlington, well, the wind was sustained near 30. We had a gust of 35 from our spotter down in Darlington. Let's see what else we've got. If you're just joining me here, it is 3:25. We're still tracking these heavy storms in the area. The warnings have expired, but there is still tremendous amounts of lightning and thunder being produced by these storms. And we're still tracking some very gusty winds that are blowing through Boone County. And we did have a warning for Montgomery and Boone County, and it looked like there may be some severe gusts in part of Clinton County. I do know that the peak gust at the Frankfurt airport was 32 west of town. Yeah, the gust at Thorntown was 48. So strong winds, but not 60 and not 58, not 70 miles an hour here. The gust there was 48. Okay. So I think right now we're getting close to a good time where we can kind of end this, because we're not going to be getting, from this current standpoint, I don't see good shots of severe weather risk coming in. The biggest problem, I think, here all night into the morning is going to be the heavy rain and the flooding. We've already had more than 3 inches of rain, especially in southern Tipton County. I'm getting reports now of 4 inches of rain near Boswell and a lot of 2.5, 2, 3 inch rain amounts in Tippecanoe County, inch and a half down towards the southern part of the county. The rain is certainly adding up in Fountain County as well. We've had 2 1/3 inches in Covington. We've had nearly 3 inches at Foster in southern Warren County. Nearly 2 inches in Attica, 3 inches southwest of West Lebanon, 2.5 at Rainsville, 2 1/4 west of Pine Village, more than 1.5 inches southeast of Pine Village, more than an inch east of Fowler, 1.1 inches there, 1 inch in Remington, but I mainly want to focus on these areas the heaviest. Cutler's had more than 1 inch of rain, more than 2 at Burlington. Michigan Town has had 1 inch of rain. Frankfort area, we're getting 1 inch rainfall reports, but we're getting 1 to 2 inch plus reports in the northwest part of the county towards Rossville and Mulberry. In Tipton, we've had 2.5 inches of rain. We're now getting amounts pushing 3.5 inches and even near 4 in southern Tipton County. East Union's had almost 3.5 inches of rain, and we've had more than 2 here near Sheridan, north of Sheridan, not in Sheridan, but north of it. There's been much less at Sheridan itself. So the flooding issues, the flash flood warnings we've got, southern Warren, Fountain County, Tippecanoe County, it's Carroll County, it's Clinton County, it's Tipton, it's Howard, and then we've got Benton County under a flash flood warning. Flood advisories farther to the north, and for the rest of the night, the line keeps moving south-southeastward. However, look what's happening in Illinois. And I'll pop this back on. We've got more pretty intense storms in Champaign County. So this is moving east-southeastward. I'll loop this so you can see it here. Note the movement. Note how these are sagging down towards Indianapolis, but these are a little bit more east-southeastward. So we got another round that's going to come into Warren and Fountain counties. And then you got these upstream that are moving east-southeastward and kind of southeastward. So I guess the point I'm making here is that not only do we have these training storms into the night, into our central and southern counties, but look what's happening near Chicago. We've got strong lift north of this boundary, right on the periphery of the upper ridge. And we're right on the edge of some pretty strong mid and upper level winds too. So we're just continually getting rising air, and we've got more back building heavy rain and storms into northern Jasper County and near Joliet, Illinois. So this is really a pretty serious flooding issue tonight, especially in the central and southern part of our area. But you got to remember the threshold for big flooding in Pulaski County, in northern Jasper County, in Fulton County, northern Cass, Miami, northeast White. The threshold for getting big flooding is less because this is the area that had up to 8 inches of rain, 4 to 9 inches of rain up in this area over the past couple of days. Whereas down here, the rainfall, we haven't had as much down here. It's been closer to 2 to 5 inches of rain. So no matter which way you slice it, be careful when you're going to work this morning. Be careful, kids going to school, because the streams, the creeks are going to be high. There's going to be water over some roadways. There's going to be some street flooding. We've had some trees and limbs down. We had 2 trees that were down in West Lafayette. We've got some trees and limbs down west of Williamsport. We had a gust of 60 near Goldsmith. We've had gusts more than 50 in parts of northwest Warren County and eastern Benton County. We had a gust of near 50 at Thorntown. So just be safe and be ready for that as you're out and about come this morning. And I just want to keep you safe. We want everybody to get to where they need to be in good shape. So we'll leave it at that for right now. We don't have any more severe thunderstorm warnings. The line is showing a weakening trend, but still a lot of thunder and lightning and heavy rain. And we've got more heavier rain and storms that will be coming in out of Illinois for the next several hours. As a matter of fact, this is going to keep going, I would say, through 6:30. And we should see mid-late morning and into midday things really diminish a lot. But we're still going to have areas of flooding that are just lingering over the area. And then we'll have more storms, on Friday night to track too that may be severe. So a lot of weather going on. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'll keep you updated. Well, there's a new severe thunderstorm warning for Vermilion and Champaign counties for that little segment of storms that's moving east-southeastward. So again, let's watch that one. These storms are not severe. They're weakening. But look at that. We got to watch this new one right off to the west. Again, bigger threats, flooding, rain, but we still got to watch at least a little bit of severe weather risk. And that's one thing I meant to mention. Into the night and early morning, the severe weather risk is not zero. You still may have an isolated random severe storm. So I'm going to get off here for just a bit. And I'm going to watch these new storms come in from the west and these storms training out of Illinois, not only up near Chicago, but eastern Illinois, and then this east central Illinois and central Illinois corridor. I'm going to keep watching those, and if I need to get back on here, I certainly will. So everybody, thank you. Be safe. Keep it here. I got you covered, and I'll let you know what's going on, and I'll be back on should we be getting more warnings out of this batch coming into Champaign County.